We get to go hunting, we get to drink some blood, we get to eat some liver. Top G, no, I'm the top king. The name is Liver King because liver is king. I want to get that out, right? Why eat vegetables when you can eat testicles? This is what I say. My kid was going through a health crisis. We thought we lost him. God damn, you're gonna make me get choked up right now.
One, two, three. Welcome to the VIBEZ show.
Today we have a very special guest. I didn't think this would ever happen. We have the Liver King himself in Dubai. Make a round of applause. This is big. How are you?
Incredible. I'm amazing. You know, the name is Liver King because liver is king. I want to get that out, right? I didn't just call myself Liver King one day just for fun. It's because if there's one thing you can do to change the entire trajectory of your lives, start eating liver. It'll give you more energy, more drive, more determination to take massive action and kick ass in life. So start with liver because liver is king. If we don't remember anything else this guy says today, if you can start getting liver in your life, you're going to notice a massive change and you'll drive for more. I think that the modern day manicured man is a weak and submissive pussy, and we got to do something about this, right? Wow. And listen, this next point I know you know about is that people are suffering today with depression, with anxiety, with infertility, with autoimmune conditions, with low energy, low ambition. So this is why I'm here, is because of the amount of people that are suffering and struggling and hurting and hating in their lives today. I believe there's a simple, elegant solution to return people back to badass, kick-ass living. I'm just gonna say these 9 ancestral tenets real quick. It's sleep, eat, move, shield, connect, cold, sun, fight, and bond.
Alright, well that was a hell of an introduction, guys. So to introduce the Liver King for you guys, I think the best way to do this is, this man eats raw liver on a daily basis. Here's the thing, the first time I ever saw you was on Logan Paul's podcast.
This is the thing, I never wanted to go on podcasts before.
Yeah.
I never signed up for this shit. You know, when Logan Paul and the Impulsive guy said, hey, come on, this is the last thing in the world I wanted to do. And the reason why I'm doing this is because people are so depressed and see such little hope and light and potential in their lives. Absolutely. Do you know that 4,000 people a day commit suicide?
Depression is major. Like people, like, I don't know, a lot of people underestimate like how crazy this shit is, but it's really bad. Like it destroys people's lives.
There's 4,000 successful suicidal attempts every day, and there's a 20x multiplier on attempts. So 4,000 people are successful in killing themselves, but 100,000 people a day attempt, right? So we're hurting at this kind of depth.
Yeah.
And so if Logan Paul says, come on, irrespective of me saying, hey, I don't want to go on. And listen, I didn't need to go on. Like from a financial standpoint, I had already been kicking ass. But I know that this is why I exist in the world. This is my fight today.
Purpose.
I have to do this.
Yeah.
This is my purpose, my passion, my fight, my direction. I know where to point my energy at. So now to answer your question about like, why is this and what is liver? Most people are aimlessly wondering about life with no purpose, no passion, no direction. If you look at modern day primitive culture tribes and our early ancestors, everybody knew their role. The hunters knew that they were the hunters. The weapon makers knew they were the weapon makers. The blacksmiths, you know, the builders knew they were the builders, right? And we had the caretakers, the compassion makers, the nurture. Everyone knew their role and goal. They knew exactly where to point their energy at. They knew their purpose. They knew their fight. And so it's really multifactorial. The way that we evolved since the beginning of time was eating the entire animal, nose to tail, horns to hooves, bones and blood. And you know what we eat today?
Chicken breast or like lamb chop. So you're saying like we should start eating liver more? Yes. Every day, or how much liver do you need?
I'm so glad you're asking these questions out of first principle thinking, because I have liver for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. What? I have a pound a day. I'm not saying you should do that. I'm not saying that you should do that. What I would suggest is you just have 1 or 2 ounces every day. Okay. 1 or 2, and that's a small piece. What 1 or 2 ounces a day is just a really small piece. If you can do that every day.
It's raw liver, right?
No, so I like raw liver, but I always say don't let perfect be the enemy of good. If you can eat it raw, eat it raw.
But why do you eat it raw? That's my question.
So I eat it raw for multiple reasons. Number one, this is how predators in the wild do it. I know a lot of people that are like, hey, listen, I tried it raw. It's horrific. It's disgusting. Never gonna do that again. I'm like, okay, well then go cook it up with some butter, some onions. Go make some subprimal dish that tastes delicious, but it's nourishing.
But question, when did you start eating raw?
We did this when my kids couldn't breathe. They were traveling by ambulance to the hospital. They were going into anaphylactic shock. This was about 12 years ago, 12 or 13 years ago. And every doctor gave us the same bullshit answers. Hey, here's more medicine. Here's another EpiPen. Here's just some other illusion of safety, right? But never addressing the root cause. So this happened about 12 years ago. I said, fuck this, man. This is no way to live. You take your kids, my kids would be here and my kids would start wheezing. They'd break out in hives and their throat might close up. And so now we always need to know, like, we have an emergency exit plan. Yeah. Where's the closest emergency rescue? Where's the EpiPen? Where's all this stuff? And so we stumbled upon ancestral living. And so the idea of ancestral living is the forces that shaped us for the last couple millions of years. These are the same forces that we still need today in the modern world to heal and be healthy. Again, like, you know that we evolved with sun. Some of these things are like first principle thinking.
Vitamin D.
Of course, nitric oxide, and there's a whole host of other things, right? Like if we think we've identified all the nourishment from sun, you're a moron, like you haven't, right? Yeah. We're barely scratching the surface on this stuff. And look at what we do today. We put on clothes, we live indoors, we go to cars, we commute, we go back into another building.
Yeah, we're always living inside.
And then when somebody actually gets outside, they put on all that white shit. And they're still hiding from the sun.
The skin isn't getting interaction.
What is your real name?
The subprimal version of me, his name was Brian Johnson. That was the corporate version of me, 15 years ago. That was that guy. That was my real name. So my real name, so first name Liver, middle name is, last name King. Liver is King. Just call me Liver King. That was kind of a joke. It wasn't really funny.
Okay, so sorry, just taking you back to the story about your kid when they got sick. Then you suddenly tried this new diet with the raw meat. And did you immediately notice the difference? Like in the first week, like you guys felt something?
Here's the thing. The first 2 or 3 days, they didn't want to eat anything because they went from this hyper palatable shit, the pizza, the mac and cheese stuff we would buy at Whole Foods.
That's tough though, like to switch like that.
It's so tough that it didn't work. They didn't consume food for literally 2 or 3 days. My wife's over here crying, second guessing. Her parents were the least supportive at the time, saying, "What are you doing to your children?"
Were they getting like nauseated and sick?
Yes, they were nauseated, they were sick, they were pale, they had bags around their eyes. They looked like zombies. Yeah. They look and so she needed me to be strong, and I know I could be strong because I wasn't going back to this hellhole of a life where they were going to the hospital.
Yeah, I mean, that's
they couldn't breathe. Yeah. They couldn't breathe. And so to answer your question, within about 2 or 3 days of them not eating, we continued to put raw liver, egg yolks, and bone broth in front of them. Damn. And so let's say that was breakfast. Oh, they wouldn't touch it. Right?
I mean, yeah, I'll be honest with you, that I would feel sick like trying to do that for the first time.
So this is what happens. Guess what? Same thing's coming out for lunch. Oh, you're not gonna eat it? Guess what? Same thing's coming out for dinner.
Holy shit.
After 3 days, when you're starving, you start eating it. Yeah. And when they start eating it, their palate changed. Yeah. Now they wanted more.
Oh.
And within about 2 days, the lights came on. 2 days, the lights came on. Their skin tone that we never knew they had, this vibrancy, this life inside of them had emerged, and their true potential is now being expressed. They're more articulate. Their attitude, their disposition is more engaging and more dynamic. And at that point, we said, holy shit, and how great, think about this. Before we did this, one kid might say, hey, I want Amy's pizza for dinner. The other kid might say, I want this other thing for dinner. It's a disaster. And then the parents are having something, you're catering, right?
Yeah.
And you're doing what's easy, but not what's right.
Yeah.
And so
everyone wants shortcuts. They can't be bothered to go through it,
So this became an incredible gift to us. Now to nourish them, and their allergies fell away.
For real?
They never had to deal with a shortness of breath or the hives or any of these issues again. We had friends that could not conceive. Yeah. They started living this lifestyle. They have a baby. They get out of the hospital. They're reconnecting with the outside world, with life. Yeah. And so this is why I'm like, listen, I don't care what I need to do in life. Like at this point, when you know that you have this powerful lever, it's free, it's accessible. It's what our ancestors did for millions of years. Yeah. What kind of piece of shit am I going to be to not go on Logan Paul's podcast? What kind of piece of shit would I be? Because the truth is, man, you guys have no idea what happens inside. But man, like there's this overwhelming fear. And I don't want to do this stuff, but I know that I need to, because again, this is my fight, because there's other kids like my kids that are suffering. Yeah. There's other couples out there like this primal cat who couldn't have kids, who adopted this ancestral lifestyle, who now has birthed a beautiful child into the world. There's people that are bedridden today, trapped in their own homes, can't get out of their house, right? And so the stories that I get back, and from little kids, from 15-year-old kids, because I think I alluded to this earlier, I hated my life from 10 to 15. I know what that feels like.
So would you say that when you were younger, you had depression?
Growing up, I never called it depression. Nobody called it, the word didn't exist.
Maybe they just say they feel bad.
The word anxious did not exist. So what I would say today is I feel a sense of feeling of what I think people term anxious all the time. Yeah. And what I do is that drives me to get something done. To me, I internalize that that's a signal, and I won't sleep now because I need to get something done. I need to take massive action to get something done.
Some changes. Your body's sixth sense of telling you something's wrong. You need to fix that, right?
Exactly.
But I'm so curious. Do you think there's like studies out there?
Let me tell you what the studies say. The studies say that 85% of people have self-esteem issues. 80% of the population struggle paycheck to paycheck, right? 80% live beyond their means, trying to express their worth and potential, their status in the world with things that they wear on their wrist, with the cars that they drive. We think that we can create our status instead of building value inside ourselves with a value and potential that we express to the outside world. We have 70% of the population that's overweight, half are obese, 50% are on prescription medicine, 40% have or will get cancer. I want to repeat that one. 40% have or will get cancer, and 20% of the population can't conceive. So when you ask about studies, here's the thing. There's no financial incentive to go do a study on the sun, but what's the return on investment there, right? There's little return. There's not a company that's going to get some sort of method patent to now receive the nourishment from the sun. So what I would say is we know by the studies, by those types of statistics, that the world is hurting at record rates at this kind of depth, this kind of desperate struggle. And what we also know is that for millions of years, these 9 things have been available to us. Modern day permaculture tribes live this way. They don't have these modern day conditions. And when you meet with them, they're the most beautiful people you've ever met, not just physically, their disposition. The way that they treat you, the joy, the content, the fulfillment.
They're very happy, right?
It's another level. They got this electricity, this chemistry that I want to bring back to my team, right? I'm like, guys, you know, if we have this in our household, in my inner circle tribe, with the business that we do, if any sports team had the kind of culture and chemistry they have, they're going to win the championship all the time. And so think about this. They don't have the fancy cars. They don't have material possessions. When you go and you visit with them, this is a true story with the Machigenga. I wanted to give them money, but there's literally nothing they can do, right, with money. And so they wanted one thing. They wanted a bottle of water because I travel with this water, right? So they asked for a bottle of water. And I was like, so I was laughing and I was like, of course. I mean, this is all you want. Of course you can have this. And they were so appreciative. And this is a great thing. So we give them the bottle of water. And now we're getting on the riverboat to head back up the Amazon. We're looking over at them. They don't know how to open it. And so they have their machete on the end. They're trying to open it. So I had to jump out on the boat. I'm like, again, what an asshole I would be to just leave. This is all they wanted.
It would have already broken and then they wouldn't even drink it.
But this is the thing, again, like they're the happiest, most content, most fulfilled people. They know their purpose and passion. All 9 ancestral tenets they do by default because it's required in their way of living. So we need to learn from this. We need to glean insights. So in terms of the studies show that we're hurting at record rates. And if you go and you look at modern day primitive culture and the things I'm talking about, stack the sun and the earth, take your goddamn shoes off, connect with the earth. Most people, when's the last time you had your bare feet connected, anchored, grounded directly into the earth, not on concrete, but on sand or on the earth? The earth has a slightly negative charge. This is a fact. It has a slightly negative electrical charge. Every cell in our body is electrophysical in nature, is electrical in nature. Every single cell in our body. All right. So if you think about this, for millions of years, we were connected to this slightly negative charge. 24/7, 365. But then we invented rubber-soled shoes. We have elevated beds, buildings, cars. We've disconnected ourselves from this power source. Again, this is not something I can financially gain from for me to share this information. This is first principle thinking. This is what modern day primitive culture tribes do. They're still connected to the earth. They're happy as I want what they have. I want to make sure that my people can heal and be healthy. And as we do this, again, this is in the morning, I wake up in the morning and I make a good morning primals video. I'm like, good morning primals. And I share my wins, something that puts us all into momentum, something badass from yesterday, usually has to do with my family. And I say, it's time to stack the sun, get the sun on you, through the eyes, on the face, on the skin, get your bare feet connected, anchored, grounded into the earth.
So you just wake up in the morning, walk outside.
That's what I do.
How many minutes? Like, is there a certain time we need to do this? A day?
So I always say 2 minutes is better than none. Early morning sun, you don't realize this, but early morning sun is going to set your biocircadian rhythm so that your body knows when to be alert and awake versus sleepy and sleeping. Most people's biocircadian rhythm is so gnarly, right? Because they don't have the environmental cues that regulate our internal clock. So you want to get the best, deepest sleep that you can have. You need to get early morning sun and you need to get your bare feet connected, anchored, grounded.
This is a question that I really need to know. what is Liver King's daily routine?
I get up just before the sunrise and I go to bed not long after sunset. This is what cultures, a lot of primitive culture tribes do as well.
So what time? I mean, okay.
So I'll tell you, for example, back home for me, that's I get up about 6 a.m. in the morning, and then I go to bed about 8:30.
So you live this primal lifestyle. Do you have a TV? Like, do you have a TV in your house? Do you live in a house? Like, what's going on?
We have a movie room. Yeah, you won't find like a TV. So here's the thing. This is what I love about this whole thing, right? Is I never showed up one day and said, my name is Liver Caveman, right? Listen, my name is Liver King.
Yeah. Brother.
How do kings live? Kings live these grand lives, and it's not just because we're rich financially, right? We figured this out. We're self-made kings. Yeah. And when you're a self-made king, you know how to create and shape the exact life you want to live in. I live a life of luxury. I live in a mansion, right? I got Liver King Ranch, 500 acres, just an hour north of me. I got a beach house just south of me. I hope one day you guys get to come over. We get to go hunting. We get to drink some blood. We get to eat some liver.
Drink blood.
That's right. That's right. You'll never forget it. And so I didn't show up one day again saying, hey, you know, me go live like caveman brother, sleep on ground, live in cave, right? What I'm saying is these 9 ancestral tenets, you can overlay these on the modern world, a life of luxury, right? Some asshole, you get this all the time. People say shit like, oh, flying in a private jet, this is not very ancestral. Like they got me, right? Oh, okay, you got me, right? I'm like, you know what? This is my pterodactyl. Technology is a utility. We invented a language.
Yeah.
This is technology. Are you gonna tell me that's not ancestral?
I really want you to tell us more about, like you said, you have liver. Because look, people want to break this down. They want to understand exactly and really like follow you. So, you said you have liver, but what about other stuff throughout the day? Do you have like fruit, veg? Because every kid has been brought up in schools that say 5 a day and all of these things. And I just want to understand, like, what else do you have besides meat?
So there's a lot of myths in there about the vegetables and the fruits. Oh, thanks, Kimberly. This is just going to be a quick snack. This is nose to tail nourishment in a protein shake. It's a delicious protein shake.
Really?
Cheers.
Okay, cheers.
And then I'm going to tell you exactly what's in it.
All right. So first we try it, then you tell
us. Of course, that's the way to go.
Oh, I love it. Chocolate.
Okay, yeah, chocolate. Chocolate, bit of, is it coffee taste in there?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
This is good.
So here's the thing. I know a lot of people aren't able to source the liver and the beef organs or any of those organs for that matter. So because of that, I made this protein shake and it has liver, heart, pancreas, spleen, kidney, bones, and blood.
Okay.
In it. So I tell everyone, if you can't go on a hunt, let's face it, not a lot of people are going to go on a hunt.
Yeah.
If you're not going to do that, go to your butcher.
Yeah.
Some people will do that. But then you have the overwhelming majority of the population that still won't do that. Go to the grocery store. I still have a lot of people that say, listen, I don't want to do that. Don't you have anything easier?
Yeah.
And so this is the last resort. So I just told you the hierarchy. Go on a hunt, go to your butcher, go to a grocery store. If you're not going to do any of that, because if you don't want to taste it, you can buy Ancestral Supplements liver. You can buy the fittest nose to tail nourishment. This is the whole feast because it has all that in there. And so to answer your question, my breakfast is raw liver, raw bone marrow, raw egg yolks. Then I have a whole feast protein shake. I have a Liver King bar. It sounds like all I'm doing is plugging my stuff. But let me tell you how this all evolved.
I'm sure you worked really hard on this stuff.
This is the fact. I made this concoction I would eat every day. I never called it the Liver King bar. This is what I ate every day. And everyone's like, hey, what is that? And I would give out the recipe. So I was like, okay, fuck it. Let me call it something. This is the Liver King bar. Same thing with the shake. You know, I would make my own shake with these sort of desiccated organs in there. And so people are like, hey, how do you do that? How can I have access to it? And if this can help finance these kind of trips where we can go and we can talk and we can spread this message, hell yeah.
So you don't have vegetables?
So I got this thing, I don't know if you've ever heard. It's why eat vegetables when you can eat testicles? This is what I say. But because if you go and you visit with modern day primitive culture tribes, they're not eating plants. Really? They don't eat any plants. You know, they put the animal at the center of their diet, nose to tail, and they hardly eat the muscle meat. They go for the liver first, the bone marrow, the pancreas, the spleen, all that kind of stuff. And then they give the muscle meat to the dogs. And so this is how we eat. And there's no nutrition you can get from a vegetable that you can't get from animal foods. And animal foods, it's more bioavailable, it's more potent, it's more robust. And here's the thing, a lot of people don't realize this, but I don't necessarily want to say plants are bad for you, right? But plants don't want to get eaten, right? So you look at animals, they have teeth, they have fangs, they have claws, they have horns and hooves. They can fight for their life, they can run. Plants can't do that. Okay. So plants have chemical defense systems, right? And those chemical defense systems are meant to poison whomever's eating it so that one day you can no longer eat that plant. And so all I'm saying is this, listen, if you're a vegan out there and you're kicking ass in life, go kick ass in life. I have 8 of the 9 ancestral tenets that are vegan friendly. But if you're a vegan or a vegetarian and you're doing 8 of these other 9 ancestral tenets, and if you're still suffering, then just start with liver.
It's interesting you say that, because my sister was actually a vegan.
I tried it, but honestly, it was tough. I just couldn't. I noticed because I was always hungry. I started having so much sugars, and I was like, yo, you're risking getting diabetes and all sorts of things. Yeah. And then, unfortunately, like, I just had to switch back. But you know what I realized? It wasn't one of the things that was bothering me and why I went to becoming vegan is not that I'm not against eating meat. It's just I'm against the suffering and torturing that they put the animals through.
100%, me too.
And I believe that, like, if you want to eat meat, there's a humane way of doing it. Like, you don't have to torture it. Like,
this is why I say go on a hunt if you can. If you can't go on a hunt, go get to know your butcher. Go get to know where your meat's coming from, because we vote with our dollars. And if you're voting with your dollars for these concentrated feedlots where animals are suffering, that's bullshit. For us to live, something has to die. How long did you go through that?
I tried it for a good couple of months, but in the end, I just started getting sick.
So I want to change the topic a little bit just for the discussion. What do you think your role as a man is? Because obviously I can see you're a good looking guy.
If you want to marry a 10, be with the most beautiful woman in the world, guess what? You got to be a 10, right? You got to be a self-made king. Yeah. So this is my job as a dad. Right? As a family man, my role as a husband is to do the same thing, right? So that I attract my complementary opposite and my queen, right? Like, how can I ask her to work out? How can I say, listen, I want to be able to wake up next to a 10 that I lust every day if I don't work out myself? I would say it depends on your roles and goals. These are my most important roles and goals as a family man and as the CEO of the Ancestral Lifestyle. So my why in the world really is because of my kids and because of my wife. As the CEO of the Ancestral Lifestyle, my why is because you have people that are living a life that they hate. Yeah. They go to a job that they hate. They come home to a life they don't love. And they sedate themselves. They're distracted with enough TV, with enough bullshit, with food, medication to feel better and to get hard. That's their whole day that turns into a week, month, years.
And alcohol as well. Like,
absolutely. Yeah. They're sedated. They're distracted just enough to not know what their ideas are, their principles, their philosophies. They don't have a fight in life because they're distracted just enough and they're standing in some other line. So this is why I exist, right?
But here's the thing. I actually heard that you do drink alcohol. Is that true?
On Saturdays.
I heard the alcohol that you drink is pure alcohol. Like,
it's Everclear.
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, well, most people drink alcohol because of the ethanol, right? Okay, the ethanol is what gets us up. Yeah. Right. And so here's the thing. Are you really drinking alcohol because you think it's delicious? Because here's the thing. I don't. I drink alcohol because I want to get up. I want to get a buzz. I want to get up. I believe that in the right setting, it can elicit profound benefits. It can deepen the experience. When Liver Queen and I are on top of our mountain and we're getting up, we're laughing. We're making fun of people. We're making fun of ourselves. I'm no longer thinking about anything else. I'm immersed in this experience right in front of me. And so here's the thing. I don't need any of the congeners, the fake colorings, the fake flavors that people bake into an alcohol and say, oh, have this tasty drink.
You just literally just take that. You just get the ethanol basically and nothing else.
So this is what I add to it. I'll add some sparkling water, some sea salt, and lime to it, right?
Your alcohol is the same way you have your meat, like nothing.
Yeah, pure, raw, wild, free.
Question. There's something really like a lot of kids do nowadays, vape. What do you think of that? And is it something that like really affects the body?
You know what? I don't know a whole lot about it. I will say that I believe that there's a whole lot of synthetic man-made chemicals in there, and we're inhaling it. What I'll tell you this is there's some modern day primitive culture tribes that are out there. I don't know what you call the rolling paper.
They smoke something.
They do smoke.
Yeah, they do.
It's wild marijuana they're smoking and wild tobacco. Yeah. You know, again, there's none of the man-made chemicals that are laced in there. So I'm not saying smoking in general is subprimal, because our early ancestors, we showed up to the Hadza, they're all smoking. Yeah. They're all smoking. And the chief hands me, you know, and I'm like, oh, I don't smoke. But he looked at me like he's going to kill me.
Oh, jeez.
He was going to kill me if I did it. Yeah, so like, okay. I'm like, you know, when you're with a Maasai, you drink blood. When you're with a Hadza, you smoke wild weed.
So you were telling us you don't drink normal water. You drink like,
wait, that's not normal water?
This is like...
Well, this is what I call... So spring water is alive, right? It has nourishment in there. It has vibes in there. Immeasurable energy that's in there. What we've done today...
Sorry.
You're good? So what we've done today is we've taken spring water and we filter it. We take all the nourishment out of it, all the electrolytes, all the magnesium, the calcium, the phosphorus, the potassium, all of that. We take it all out and we think that we're hydrating ourselves. Isn't it funny that we buy it too? Most people, I'm sure you do. You probably buy it, right? We're all guilty of. I did too for a long time, right? We're all guilty of standing in a line at some point in our lives. We're buying what somebody else is selling, but we got to stand in front of these big questions. Why are we doing this? Am I kicking ass in life? Am I expressing my full potential? If the answer is yes, go do you. But if you think you can do better in life, and trust me, everybody can. Start asking these questions, right? This is part of a nuance, right? Like, of course, I believe everyone should be drinking real spring water with real nourishment. But again, the biggest lever you're going to pull is with liver. Start with liver because liver is king. I spend $50,000 US a year on my water. But you think about it, most people are drinking water that has microplastics in it. It's bottled, they blow the plastic, so the plastic is still leaching. And then they put the water in there that has microplastics already in there. And again, this is like water devoid of nutrition. And inside of those microplastics or hormone disrupting chemicals or neurochemistry disrupting chemicals, right? And so again, it's like, there's a better way to do life. And again, if you're kicking ass in life, go kick it. But here's the thing, this is not the case. They're drinking the soy lattes and they're drinking all the water.
Soy lattes aren't good. So is it the soy?
It's the soy. So you have phytoestrogens, you have xenoestrogens, all these things are hormone disrupting chemicals.
It's not good to have that.
You're making me think that everything we have is wrong. Like, after this podcast, guys, like, even is the drink I milk wrong? Like is the milk that I drink wrong? Like, do I need a special type of milk?
What kind of milk do you have?
Bro, at this point, I don't think we can get a cow in here and start milking.
You can. This is what we did. This is what we did. Listen, you can do anything. Right? Again, when you take extreme ownership and leadership over your life, you can shape and create the exact life you want to live in. This is the life that I want to live in. I wanted to have my own cows so that we can milk our own cows. So that's the milk department at Liver King Ranches. We have dairy cows.
And you said something with water, the plastic leaches through the bottle itself?
Yeah, glass. And then this is another thing I see all the time. People keep these bottle like cases in their car.
Yeah.
And it's heating up and it's leaching even more. And I'm like, oh my God.
So we should go for a glass bottled water.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I want to get a little bit controversial right now. Have you heard of Andrew Tate?
Yeah. Somebody called me a top G at the water park where we're staying at. And I go, top G? No, I'm the top king. And this kid goes, okay, top king. And it was great. So here's the deal. I do live in a primal bubble. I don't know enough about Andrew Tate to comment on it. But here's what I will say is we have a modern day manicured man problem today. I alluded to this earlier. Men are aimlessly wondering about life. They have no direction, no purpose, no passion. They don't fight for anything. And if they can't fight for anything, they have no no altruistic mission in life. And so this is what I would say is put down all the damn distractions. Like, people are distracting themselves enough with TikTok and, again, medication, with alcohol. They don't even develop their own principles, their own philosophies, right? Men are weak and submissive pussies today because they're not strong, and they're not strong because hard times make strong men, and there's no requirement for hard times in the modern world, right? So we have to create our own sacrifice, our own struggle, our own rites of passage. So today when men turn 16, do you know what we do for men or young boys when they turn 16?
Party.
We have a party for them. In the US, they call it a Sweet 16 party. They give them a car. They say, hey, now you're a man. And they did nothing to earn that rite of passage. If you look at the Machiganga, they send out their 15-year-olds for 3 months in the wild to go live with a jaguar. And if you come back, you're a man. But this is what's happening is boys are growing up to become men. And these men, they hate their lives. And people ask me all the time, aren't you worried your kids are gonna hate you? Because I make my kids work out twice a day. I make my kids eat the same thing that I eat, right? I would love to say that they also choose to do it, but I always say I would rather my kids hate me than hate themselves. So here's the thing, we gotta create resistance in life. You know this from a physical standpoint. You get into the gym, you create resistance. Yeah. That's a stimulus that creates an adaptation. That adaptation is physical strength. Yeah. We need those same hard times. We need to create the resistance intellectually, right? Socially and emotionally. We need to go up and talk with people. And so this is the problem that we have today is a lot of men themselves, they don't believe that they can protect their own woman in the dark alley. The woman doesn't know if the man can protect her in a dark alley. We got to do better than this, right? And then that dark alley, I mean it literally, but figuratively, because guess what? The financial crisis is coming. Yeah. And when you go through that financial crisis, does your woman know that you will always be there. You will fight until the end to make sure that you pull yourself, you claw your way out of that. So I'm 100% behind that. I think that men today offer so much less value than our forefathers in perpetuity. It's up to role models and parents to say, we have a soft, manicured man problem today, and what we need to do is create our own sacrifice, our own rites of passage, and instill hard work in our kids and acknowledge, guess what, my kids are gonna hate me. It's gonna be met with so much resistance, but again, that resistance forges a deeper, more profound relationship with your kids. And you don't want your kids to grow up with this hollow worth, this hollow potential, right? We're giving trophies and telling our kids how good they're doing.
Don't you think that'll make them do worse? Like if you kind of force them to do something, once you're not there, they're just gonna do the complete opposite. Like, is that not a worry you have?
That's my job as a dad. And so now afterwards, are they gonna say, let's go party, I'm gonna eat McDonald's and all this stuff. You know what, if this is their prerogative, I think that we've educated them enough, and I think that they're living enough of a kick-ass life that if they go back to eating any of that shit, I think that they're gonna experience health issues. Yeah. So at the end of the day, like, am I a control freak? Yeah, I am a control freak.
But like, it's important to have a balance in life, right? So like, let's say the kid,
I don't agree with that.
I don't think they should like have time for fun and.
Well, they have time for fun. My kids, when we go on vacation, you know how much they love vacation because they don't have that kind of vacation.
So they enjoy it.
But and this is the thing, right? It's like we need these valleys and these peaks in life. And we go on vacation and we look at other kids and we're like, look at those kids over there. Do you think those kids earned it? We look at them and I'm like, you can tell the way they carry themselves. They didn't earn it. Yeah. They were relaxing before vacation. They were on vacation.
They're sad on vacation.
Now they're on vacation, and guess what? They're going home to vacation. My kids worked their asses off to go on vacation. Now we're on vacation, and they can't wait to stay for another day here. Be like, we're going to the water park tomorrow. Yeah. We're gonna eat as much sushi as we can put in our stomachs, you know, and that's the thing in life. If you earn it, if you create that resistance, if you earn it, you will appreciate it. You'll be grateful for it. And again, at the end of the day, it's about knowing when you really believe in yourself, you can create the outcome, the life that you want to live in. And so that's my job as a dad.
Now, obviously, you're a very manly man, but I have a question. Do you think that emotional men who cry are weak men?
That's interesting. What are we crying about?
Like emotional stuff, like, I don't know, a breakup or family issues or...
You know what? I think that I wouldn't pigeonhole me into like this box, right? Like if men that cry, you know, are they weak? This is what I would say. It's like, it depends. So it's very nuanced. Like, what's your role and goal in life? I'll tell you this, when my kid was going through a health crisis, we thought we lost him. Yeah. So you're telling me that as a man, as his dad, if I'm going to shed a tear, that means I'm weak? This is what I'll tell you is I let that kind of sadness say there's no fucking way I'm going to tolerate this. Yeah. You know, like I'm sad. My wife and I would look at each other and God damn, you're going to make me get choked up right now. We look at each other and we're like, you know what? I got to fix this. I'm going to fight. I'm going to claw my way out of this. And I did. Yeah. Right? I did. And so I think that men are weak when they continue to cry over the same thing over and over. Listen to my sob story, because guess what? Nobody wants to hear you cry about the same bullshit every day. People want to see other people take massive action and build a better life, and we want to shape a life around other ecosystems with people that make progress and make better lives. If you're around that same person that's complaining and crying, who's negative every day, right? This is not just a man who's weak. This is a weak human organism.
Just do something about it, right?
Do something about it. You know, every single day I write down what my struggles are, right? You could call this crying, right? And if I have a struggle that's repetitive, I say, fuck that, I'm never dealing with it again, I outsource it, right? So if I have an issue that I can't deal with or it's not worth my time, which again, it's me complaining, this is my struggle in life, I got to fix this shit, I hire somebody, or I'll outsource it to my estate manager. Yeah, so to answer that question, you know, I think categorically speaking, if men cry, does it make them weak? You know, if men cry about the same thing over and over and they're not taking massive action to build a better life and to put forth a solution, they're weak.
So you seem to be very much into this primal lifestyle. Do you take medicine?
No.
No medicine?
No medicine. No Panadols.
So
nothing.
wait.
What is Panadol?
No way. Wait. So I don't know how many years has it been. Like, I don't know how long has it been that you've adopted this?
About 12 years or so.
12 years. And since then, you didn't get sick?
So here's the thing. In terms of getting sick, like if I get what seems like a flu symptom, so I hardly ever get sick.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll go years without getting sick, right? But if I start to feel lethargic, I don't eat for 5 days. So I'll go on a 5-day water-only fast, and I'm like, you know what? Perfect time to fast. Because I fast a couple of times a year anyways. Liver Queen and I will fast for 5 days every quarter, right? We honor this feast and famine cycle. It's an incredibly rehabilitating thing to do. Like from a metabolic and neurocognitive standpoint, a 5-day water-only fast is like a genetic reset.
Wait, you just have water for 5 days?
Water for 5 days. And so here's the thing, if I'm not feeling good for a day or two, I'm like, you know what, life's too fucking short. If I'm gonna go through what would have previously been like 5 days of the flu, guess what, I'm gonna take 5 days to water only fast, and when I come out of those 5 days, you've never been more productive.
So no medicine?
No medicine.
Wow, that's possible, 5 days without food, that's insane.
You know what is really insane is a lot of people think today, if I skip a meal, I'm gonna die. You know, people, oh, if I skip a snack, I'm gonna die. Listen, you can go weeks and months without eating, months. So here's the thing, I grew up without a dad. I didn't have a dad to mentor me, to pull me along to do nothing. And it's probably one of the best gifts I could have had because I had to figure out my own fucking path. But you know what I said is I won't allow my kids to grow up without a dad if there's something I can do about it. Yeah. So doing a 5-day water only fast, it's not like I want to. We hardly ever get sick. If we are feeling under the weather, I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to roll this into an opportunity. This is a blessing. I'm going to do a 5-day water only fast, and it's going to confer health benefits so that I can be around for my kids.
That's insane. Yeah.
Does Liver King take steroids?
So before I answer that question, my camera guy just told me to plug Twitter. I'm officially on Twitter. I got on Twitter yesterday. Oh, wow. Yeah, my handle is What Up Primals. Is that correct? My handle is What Up Primals. That's my official Twitter account. You guys follow me on Twitter because we need 10,000 Twitter followers before we leave Dubai. And so I'm asked this question all the time, so the answer is no. I've never taken steroids. I'm not going to take steroids. But why do you ask? Because people seem to be so enamored by this. And here's the thing, it has nothing to do with my message. Right, and it's not like you wouldn't go ask a UFC fighter if they're okay doing like a financial audit on their business that they don't have. Yeah. Right. Here's the thing. It's not like I compete in something. Yeah. And people are asking me this all the time. Do you take steroids? You know, or it seems to be, you know, really controversial.
You know what it is? A lot of people, because they struggle to get into like your shape, like they think that this has to be a key element. They don't believe that, you know, a lot of people don't believe they can just do it by working out. So that's why we ask, you know.
Yeah. So my trainer that I train with every day, he told me, do you have prosthetic abs? Like, did you do a surgery for them?
So I will admit to that. Not only, so it's called the whole unit. So you can get prosthetic abs, or you can get the prosthetic abs with a Roman chest plate too. It's a little bit extra, but they give you a good deal. There's a surgeon in Beverly Hills that'll do it. It's $10K per ab, and then it's about $25K for the Roman chest plate. Of course, you know, I'm just having fun right now, right? You know.
I was like, what?
Wait, I don't know right now. I'm sweating.
Well, guys, it's nonstop. It's not. Listen, it's nonstop. It started with PEDs and steroids, and I'm like, well, this is real interesting. Like, of course, when they asked me at first, I'm like, oh, this is a compliment. Thank you for asking. Yeah. Right. And then a lot of people continued to not just ask, but make accusations. Yeah. And that's when I said, hey, this is dangerous. When you make these accusations, what you're telling young people is, if you want to look like that, you got to do that.
I actually do have a friend though that did prosthetics.
How do they look with the prosthetics?
It actually doesn't look good. And it doesn't look natural in any way. Like, it just looks, it looked really bad.
Like, I mean, that's a thing. So some people like say, hey, your abs don't move. Yeah. You know, or like, I don't know if you can tell with the obliques, but like if I flex it, you can see it, right? You know, here's the thing. I don't fucking take showers. I don't brush my teeth. You know, people think I'm gonna go have plastic surgery. Again, this whole thing started with all these hilarious accusations. Then it became about ab implants. By the way, I'm the one who invented that rumor about ab implants, right? Because I was on the Nelk Boys, and Kyle goes, dude, you look great. If I look like you, I wouldn't wear a tarp either. And I go, oh, you think I look good? These are ab implants. They cost $10K each. I spent $100,000. AKA, we don't have 10 fucking abs anyways, right? I'm like, oh, this is a joke. People know it's a joke.
Yeah. But they can take that out of context.
It's spread across the internet, and then they take that soundbite. These are ab implants. And now you know how many people just use that soundbite, and a lot of people think, oh, hey, maybe everything else he's saying isn't true either. In my opinion, these are ridiculous accusations. I'm gonna meet them back with ridiculous humor. I tell people now I had gene editing done in Singapore. You know, I mean, I tell people I have like this Russian pre-World War II device that I use when I sleep. It shocks my muscles. It's like, you know, let's have a little fun with it.
You said something about brushing teeth.
I was gonna ask.
Yeah, yo, was I tripping or did I hear correct? You said
I don't brush my teeth.
And you said something about shower too?
I don't take traditional showers.
Okay, so what do you do?
What do I do for what?
Like for teeth? I mean, you don't do anything?
This is a myth, right? We're all standing in line, right? Somebody said, hey, the more you floss, the more you brush, the better your teeth are gonna be, right? It's like, and we're buying it. Hey, I did it too. For 25 years, I brushed and flossed my teeth. Well, guess what? My wife is a retired dentist, right? And so what we know is that we nourish our oral health with vitamin A, D, K, and E. Our early ancestors, you think they have toothbrushes and floss?
Were they doing anything though?
Like, do you rinse
No.
it with water? I guess that's
Well, I drink water,
That's
but
it?
so it's two things. It's you need to nourish it, and you need to give your teeth a mechanically loading workout too.
Yeah.
I might have like some sap or a piece of some gum or something like that, and I'll use my centrals. I'll make sure to use my teeth, or I'll just gnaw on a stick.
So you don't brush your teeth, but have you ever had a cavity?
When I was Brian Johnson, I did. I had a couple cavities, but since I've been doing this for the last 12 to 15 years, I'll ask Liver Queen, I'm like, hey, listen, Liver Queen, how's my oral health? And she's like, come over here, let me look. And she goes, listen, you have dragon breath. And I'm like, yeah. Right, I have dragon breath. Thank you, this is a compliment. And I'll tell you why it's a compliment, because there's no better thing to be in life than a beast, right? Strength makes all other values possible. As a man, it's fundamental in life. There's no other value that exists in life if you don't have strength. So she's like, hey, you might have dragon breath, but all your teeth are healthy, you have no signs of decay, no issues with your oral health.
And what about hair? I mean, you said you don't shower or something.
I'll jump in the lake.
Bro.
Yeah.
Do you use any like shampoo?
No.
Conditioner?
No.
So you just jump in and you get out and you're rinsed up.
That's it, I'm good to go.
What about soap?
So
Okay.
my wife has 100% tallow. Do you know what tallow is?
No.
It's rendered fat from the animal, right? So it's
Okay.
rendered fat. You can use that to lather. I go places and people are like, dude, what do you put on your skin? Like, you think this guy is put stuff on my skin? You think this guy's gonna put shit in his hair or my beard? By the way, sometimes I spill maple syrup on my beard. I'm just like, I
rinse
just
it.
put it in.
Wait, what do you
That's
use
right.
for shampoo? Nothing? That's it?
This head of hair has never seen shampoo.
So we just put water. That's it.
Okay, I have to ask you this question, and are you religious?
I love how you're like, hey, what do you know about politics? Let's talk about religion.
He talks random.
I'm gonna tell you two things. Like I said earlier, I live in this primal bubble. I kind of have this policy when we talk about these types of things. Get your fucking life in order. Right, because most people don't have personal accountability, they don't have personal responsibility, and they want to talk about religion and politics. They can't help themselves. And then if they can't help themselves, they can't get their own house in order. So what I tell people is, go get your life in order, go get your household in order, go help your neighbor. Once you can help your neighbor and you can help your community, now let's go to dinner and we'll talk about this stuff. From a religious standpoint, I believe that we all come from the same people group, right? I believe that my animal brother, I believe my fellow man is my brother, my fellow woman is my sister, right? It's in our ability to really share in the success of the hunt that we are the people that we are today. So anyways, from a religious standpoint, I would say that spirituality is a big deal to us.
Yeah.
We contemplate our consciousness, our existence. We have these types of conversations. But then when it comes to like the different types of religions, these are not conversations that we have in our house.
Just believe in a higher power.
Absolutely.
There's like this inner voice. I don't know if you ever experienced that. There's something that talks to you and tells you. Do you have that experience?
You know, so my wife and I love doing mushrooms.
Yeah.
And when we do mushrooms, I don't really categorize it as an inner voice per se. It's beyond words. There's another presence here. There's these other souls. It's like I can see that what seem like trees and grass, like these are all life forms.
All right, so I want to cut you guys off. I want to move on from the mushrooms, and I'm going to be completely honest. I'm literally asking this question just so I can clip it for TikTok. All right, Liver King, money or fame?
People do this all the time, right? They try to box you in, like, why the f would I choose? Why would I choose? And you think you're gonna make me choose? I mean, who's gonna sit here and say one or the other? Yeah. You know, I mean, and listen, people don't even understand what money is. Money is a proxy for the value that we create in the world. Yeah. So what you're asking me for, fame, which is somebody's recognized for something that they do. Now, if they're recognized for something that they do and what they do stands for benevolence, that's good. Now, if you created money and value in the world because what you do, the actions behind that is benevolent, you see, so this is a very, so I would never say money or fame. Like, the reason why I love it when people recognize me, so in the elevator, these young kids got in. I was running the stairs today. It was my day off, and I'm running the stairs this morning, and these kids get in, and they didn't even look at me. Right, and this is not okay, right? You better fucking at least acknowledge somebody, right? And so he's right fucking next to me, like 2 inches from me, and I go, "What up, primals?" And these kids look at me, oh my God, it's Liver King. And I said, yeah, that's right. And you didn't look at me. I said, what you need to do.
Scared,
I said, no, they weren't scared. I was gonna say they weren't scared. They're pussies. But what I believe is they're distracted. Yeah. They're distracted, and and here's the thing: we're distracted with our phones. We don't connect with each other anymore. People are hurting. There's a better life to live. So you ask me, fame or money, again, they both have to do with value. If the value that we create is for good, to do good in the world, because the world needs that, I'm never choosing one or the other. I'm going all in on both. TikTok that shit.
Yeah, TikTok that shit. All right, so.
To wrap it up, the final thing I want from you, what would your message be to the world?
The world is hurting at record rates, suffering and struggling and hurting and hating in their lives. Like I said before, 85% of the population struggles with self-esteem issues. 80% struggles and lives beyond their mean, right? We're living today lives that we hate. There's a better fucking life to live. It's a life worth a life full of excitement, adventure, right? And so my message really is these 9 ancestral tenets: sleep, eat, move, shield, connect, and cold. They're free, they're accessible. There's things that you can start doing today and it will change your life tomorrow. So that's my message. That's why I live today. You know, that's what I fight for. Again, the name is Liver King. Start with liver because liver is king. Start there. And then as you start to feel better, you have better drive, determination, more of the currency in life to take massive action. You're gonna say, okay, damn, maybe this Liver King guy's onto something. Now, if you tune into my morning story, you're gonna say, let me get some sun, let me take my shoes off. Yeah. And when you feel how good that feels, you're gonna say, okay, let me go a little bit further. Let me experience these thermal pressures. Let me get really cold, let me get really hot. Let me start putting down the goddamn phone because he talks about Bond.
You take ice baths, by the way?
Every week.
Yeah, he just said.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's my message is people are living a life today that sucks. There's a better life to live. It's called ancestral living. Start eating liver, stack the sun in the earth, go lift heavy shit, learn the barbarian, become a barbarian, and express your highest and most dominant form.
Thank you guys. Round of applause. Thank you so much.
That was amazing.
Liver King, out.
All right, peace.